Your monthly budget can look perfectly fine until real life hits. Tuition, holidays, annual renewals, travel, and car maintenance turn a good month into a scramble. Not because you're careless, but because the plan is too small in time. If you're a high earning Filipino professional, this is the episode to watch. Here's the fix right away. We'll build a one page, 12-month zero based budget, with a simple grid, 5 buckets, and a total column. So every peso you make has a job before you spend it. Plan the year, then run each month inside that plan. We'll have clear rules instead of guesswork. Do this and the year stops ambushing you. You'll see stress months ahead of time, pre-fund your lump sums calmly, and make clean yes or no calls without second guessing yourself. You'll have fewer money fights, fewer leaks, and a system that finally matches the level of your career so that your goals move forward on purpose month after month. So today, we build the next layer, that 12-month zero-based budget, a simple version, so you can finally see the truth about your cash flow and stop getting ambushed by predictable big months. If you're a high-income Filipino professional, your life doesn't need to run month to month. It can run instead in 12-month patterns. Now, quick companion tool before we build the year. When you plan 12 months, you don't want to lock in an overpriced fixed expense for the whole year, especially insurance, which is often one of the biggest recurring commitments for busy professionals. Download the Insider's Insurance Audit Playbook. Link is in the description or show notes. It helps you check if your premium still makes sense, so your yearly budget plan has more breathing room. Okay, now let's build a 12-month plan. First, I'd like to tackle why budgets break after a few months. Monthly budgeting fails because it hides the annual truth. Most people build a budget like this. Here's my annual income. Here are my monthly bills. Here's my monthly savings goal. Here's my spending limit. And on paper, it can look responsible, but the expenses that break budgets are usually not random. They're predictable but irregular. If you're running a household with real responsibilities, you'll recognize what I'm saying. Tuition and school-related spikes like books, fees, or projects, birthdays and Christmas season, travel and family reunions, car renewals, registration, maintenance, annual subscriptions and memberships, property-related costs like appliance and gadget repair, property maintenance, condo due adjustments, etc. Or you can have family obligations that may not have a set date but are consistent over time. So high earners feel reactive not because income is low, but because timing and irregular expenses weren't designed into the plan. Your budget works until real life shows up. Now, I have a fast listing exercise for you. Do this quickly. You don't need to make it perfect. First, list 10 expenses that happen in a year that are not every month. Second, circle the top 3 that usually create your stress months. Those top 3 are the reason your monthly budget looks fine until it suddenly doesn't. Because you weren't budgeting for the year. You were budgeting for an ideal month that doesn't exist. Let me show you what this looks like in real life for a client of mine who was earning well, but still getting blindsided by big months. Juliet is a client and a senior IT account manager whose lifestyle looked fine on paper, but tuition season kept triggering panic for her. The issue wasn't irresponsibility, it was a plan that was too small in time. So, once she adopted a goals-first budget with a simple 12-month view, everything just fell into place. Predictable costs were dated, monthly set-asides were defined, and one guardrail kept lifestyle lifts in check. The next tuition payment was calm and on time. Travel felt intentional rather than impulsive. Week to week, month to month, she could see what was funded and why, and she finally saw steady progress toward the right goals. That shift came from a yearly plan where every peso has a job, so big, predictable expenses stop being surprises. Now let's build your year on one simple grid. Let's look at what a 12-month zero-based budget looks like. Now, a 12-month budget means you plan the year, then you run each month inside that plan. You have visibility on both the bigger picture and the smaller picture at the same time. Zero-based means that every peso that you make has a job. You assign every single peso that comes in to either a savings or expense item so that exactly 0 is left over unallocated for the month. You don't leave big chunks unassigned and hope the leftovers are enough. No, savings, goals, irregular expenses, buffers, these aren't leftovers. They are planned line items. This is professional thinking applied to money. At work, you don't fund priorities using whatever's left after random spending. No, you allocate resources intentionally based on your priorities, on the timing and the constraints that you have. That's what we're doing here. Just apply to your personal cash flow. So here's how to build that simple grid in 6 easy steps. Step 1, create your 12-month grid, the year at a glance. So make one simple table, the leftmost column for the line items for spending and saving, then the months, January to December across the top, and a total column at the end. Add 5 sections to the line item column, the very leftmost. Put there your goals, your operations, or your fixed obligations, seasonal big expenses, unexpected but inevitable expenses, or what I call UBIs, and of course, discretionary expenses. The total column is where the truth shows up. Small monthly numbers every month, when added up, may reveal huge annual realities, and that will be your first aha moment. Step 2, put your income in reality order. Fill the income row the way money actually arrives. So your salary schedule, business income, and conservative estimates for variable items like commissions or bonuses. And here's a professional rule. Treat variable income as optional until it lands. If a bonus does land, split it in advance using a simple rule you can live with. Step 3, goals first funding. Pay yourself first, then everything else. List your 3 to 5 real goals with target amounts and dates. Now convert each into a monthly set aside, like whatever your target is divided by the number of months left to achieve it. Now drop those set asides into the goals row of your grid. These are real allocations, not leftovers. If a windfall is coming, decide ahead of time what percentage tops up goals. So you've just aligned income to outcomes before anything else competes to it. Step 4, fill in your fixed obligations, and this will be your skeleton for the year. So add your operational expenses like rent or mortgage, your baseline utilities, your stable groceries, transportation, household support, loan payments, subscriptions you truly keep, and also monthly tuition plans wherever applicable. This is your non-negotiable backbone. What must be covered for life to run? Step 5, add seasonal big expenses, or what I call seasonal bigs. These are predictable expenses, but they don't happen every month. They happen every so often. Plot those. Place big dated expenses in the exact months they happen. So for tuition month, write down your tuition expense there. For travel, for Christmas and family events, you get the idea. Plot the data ahead of time. Because seeing them where they truly hit is the second aha. You'll spot stress months now. You'll see the ebb and flow of your income and expenses, and you can anticipate ahead of time to prepare more adequately. Step 6, add in your unexpected but inevitable expenses, which I call your UBIs. So this is where you might have that random repair, replacement for gadgets or appliances, medical expenses, car or home surprises. So this is where, none of these are emergencies over a long timeline. Give UBIs a steady monthly contribution as a sinking fund so that they stop becoming moments of panic. Well, not sure where to start? Just pick a modest figure you can stick with and adjust after a quarter. Step 7, give discretionary spending a lane, not just whatever's left. Dining, shopping, lifestyle, all of these things, you put them inside your plan. You're not policing joy, you're protecting priorities. Decide what a good month looks like for your lifestyle after your goals are set, your operational expenses are in, seasonal bigs have been plotted, and UBIs have been funded. Step 8, zero-based checkpoint. Now, this is the rule that makes it real. At the bottom of each month's column, the balance should be zero by design. So if it's positive or greater than zero, then assign it to either a goal, a buffer, an investment, or a planned expense. If it's negative, meaning money flowing out is greater than money flowing in, you need to redesign the months. You need to reduce allocations, maybe perhaps move a seasonal big by a cycle, trim discretionary spending, or right size a commitment. So there's no hiding, no guessing, no bahala na. No, a clear plan with clear trade-offs is what we're after. Finally, step 9, you need to just go over your list again and smooth the heavy months so nothing blindsides you. For example, scan for red months and pull small amounts into the months before them. For example, if your tuition falls on June, then start setting aside in March. That's March, April, May, June, giving you 4 months to set aside for it. Are you traveling in December? Maybe you can spread the cost from August to November. You see, smoothing turns shocks into routine funding. Now, a quick reminder before we continue. If your 12-month plan feels tight, A common reason is fixed costs that are bloated, and insurance is one of the biggest bloats. So pick up the Insider's Insurance Audit Playbook for free in the description or show notes before you finalize the year, so you don't end up overfunding an efficient premium line item for the next 12 months. Okay, back to the framework. Now for the third part, let's inspect how the 12-month view changes your perspective. Now this is where the 12-month view becomes powerful. The total column reveals the truth. Like, you'll see where you're overcommitted, you'll see where you're underfunding something important, you'll see stressful months ahead of time, and you can fix them before they happen. And you stop thinking, oh, we're fine this month, and you start thinking, we're fine this year, because the heavy months have all been planned out. That shift alone reduces the mental load dramatically and contributes positively to you being consistent in doing your budget. Let me share with you some truth tests that I'd like you to answer, and you can bring that to our discovery call. First, stress month scan. What do I mean by that? Answer the question, which months go negative or feel tight on paper? Those are your predictable stress months. Second, you need an annual reality check. Like, which category looks small monthly but becomes huge annually? For example, 3,000 pesos a month becomes 36,000 pesos a year. 8,000 pesos a month becomes 96,000 pesos a year. And so this annual view forces honest decisions. Third, funding rule. Simple math lang ito, guys, but yet it has big impact. What do I mean by that? For each big irregular expense, you divide the target amount by the number of months remaining to get your monthly funding line. For example, if tuition is due in 6 months and you need 120,000 pesos, then you fund 20,000 a month starting now. This is the professional move. You turn future obligations into calm money funding. Next, for part 4, I'd like to tie it back to your bigger money system. You know, this budgeting sheet is not just a spreadsheet, although it is that. It's the cash flow engine behind smarter decisions, like insurance structure. You know, if premiums are bloated, your plan will always feel tight. Or you can talk about buffer sizing. How much liquidity do you actually need based on your real year? Next, your investing direction. What's truly extra cash and what is needed for upcoming obligations? And then you have your goal timelines. What can you realistically fund and when? When you see the whole year, you stop making isolated decisions. You stop optimizing one thing while the rest stays unclear. One more quick proof of concept, this time from a high-earning couple who felt they were winging it despite solid income. Ed and Pam are my clients and have strong income, but their decisions were made in isolation, reactive, although not reckless. And so installing a straightforward budget with a 12-month allocation plan lifted the fog. Income was pre-split by simple rules. Seasonal bigs had dates and targets, and light quarterly reviews kept them on track through a new job, an overseas move, and even a new baby. What surprised them wasn't a single hack, it was how decisions became easier and more consistent. Looking back, they both said that if they had done this years earlier, they would have been much further along in their walk. The difference wasn't tracking harder. It was committing to a 12-month allocation plan they could actually run. Let me ask you this. If you had to protect only 3 things in your budget, what would they be? Most high responsibility households land on core obligations, one major goal, or basic buffers. Everything else adjusts around those. That's strategy thinking applied to money. And so, I'd like to give you a 1-page, 12-month budget quick start. And here's the clean takeaway you can screenshot or write down. First, create a 12-month grid with a total column, along with the left-hand grid for the line items. Number 2, your income. List it down. And maybe if you have variable income, just use conservative estimates. Third, write down your goals, line items, then your fixed obligations, then your seasonal bigs. 6, your UBI sinking fund line for allocations every month. Next, 7, your discretionary spending. And number 8, do a zero-based check. Assign every peso or redesign negative months because doing it this way will eliminate most surprises. Now, if you want a practical step to free up cash flow while you build this yearly plan, download the Insider's Insurance Audit Playbook. The link is in the description or show notes. And if you want us to build and maintain this 12-month plan with you, customized to your income pattern, timing, and goals, that's exactly what we do inside the BFM program. So next week, we'll make this plan livable without micromanaging every receipt. So I'll be introducing you to the 4-account system plus the allowance method. There, you'll learn how to run your budget in real life without daily tracking. If you're watching on YouTube or listening in on the podcast, check the description or show notes for the Cluster 3 playlist so you can follow the full system step by step. I'm Juan Casas from Beacon Wealth Advisory, and I'll see you then.